Hey guys! So in my hands here I have a small piece of internet history, and that is the pink sauce and the blue sauce seasoning packets. Now I'm sure if you're watching this right now you're aware of who Chef Pie is, and you have at least some idea of the controversy that has surrounded her. I'm not here to talk about that today, but simply to try her final product. And I do say final product because if you go over to Chef Pie's TikTok, you'll notice that she is no longer talking about or promoting the pink sauce. So I get the impression she is moving on to other business ventures. So it's quite exciting that we were still able to order this and test the product after the launch 2 years ago, and then switching over to the powder form just to see if she's been able to cultivate and perfect her recipe. And using the exact instructions that she has, we're going to try this out. So I'm going to show you what they look like when I got them out of the bag. Here is the pink sauce and the blue sauce, and on the back there is a list of the ingredients. And then it also came with these 2 stickers that show the sweet mix instructions and the pink sauce list instructions. Now, one thing that stood out to me, and I'm not sure if you can see this very well, is that the printing on the sticker, like, it looks like she needs to replace her printer ink because it's very difficult to see. But luckily I can see it well enough that I can get the instructions and know what ingredients I'm going to need to use. And I actually do need to go to the grocery store and get these ingredients because there's quite a few listed here. Alright guys, I just got back from the store and I've got everything we need for the pink sauce and the blue sauce. Probably going to have to break this into 2 separate videos, but let's get started. So for the ingredients, we need 1 cup milk, 3/4 cup sour cream, 1 cup mayo, and 1/4 cup of sweet chili sauce. So let's open up the seasoning packet. Now, one thing I noticed, and this is also something that August the duck said, is that this is hard. It's very hard, but it is properly sealed in a plastic bag. It's not dumping out everywhere, but yeah, this is like very hard. So the smell kind of reminds me of taco seasoning. Like, you can definitely like smell the chili powder in here. It does not, however, smell like mildew. That's one thing that August the duck said, is it smelled mildewy, but it doesn't smell mildewy at all. It actually smells relatively fresh. Here's how it looked when I dumped it out of the bag. Now, I thought I'd be able to just crush it up with a fork, which is what I've been trying to do, but it is really stuck together. So I'm not going to be able to do this on video, but hopefully we'll be able to get it down to a powder consistency. Okay, so I wasn't able to crush it with a fork, but I was able to crush it down with my fingers. Don't worry, my hands were washed, but I was able to get most of the lumps out, so that's how it looks now. So the first step is to mix 1 cup of milk with the seasoning and then set aside. Whisking this together, as you can see, there is a very deep pink, almost purplish color. And then in another bowl, you add the mayo, sweet chili sauce, and the sour cream together. So that's how that looks mixed up. And now we're going to mix the seasoning mixture and the mayo mixture together. So we're going to whisk these 2 together. This makes a lot of sauce. And already I can tell this is going to be very liquidy, and I should probably put this in a bigger bowl. That's fine, I just need to be kind of careful, but yeah, mixing this up, it's turning into kind of a Pepto color, but as August mentioned, this is very thin. But there we go, we have our pink sauce. So as we know, when Chef Pie took her recipe out and had people taste test it, she was very insistent on asking people if it tasted like ranch and having people say that no, it doesn't taste like ranch. But I can honestly tell you guys that it does smell quite a bit like ranch. So to do the taste test, I've got some roast chicken here. I did remove some of the seasoning. That way, when we're tasting the pink sauce, we know that we are tasting the sauce and not the seasoning on the chicken. So here's my piece of chicken here. And we're about to try it. Not gonna lie, I am a little bit thrown off by the Pepto color. A little bit nervous to try it, but I'm gonna try to be as non-biased as possible considering the other reviews, but let's give it a go. I'm gonna get a nice dip on there. You can kind of see how thin the sauce is. Let's try it. You know, it's actually not bad. I'm gonna taste a little spoonful on its own, that way I can try to accurately describe what the flavor profile is. So it doesn't taste like ranch, but it really doesn't have like a strong flavor profile to begin with. You can certainly taste the milk, which is kind of weird with chicken. Like you can really taste that milky flavor, obviously, because there's a ton of milk in this, and you can taste the mayonnaise and stuff like that. But there's nothing about this that makes me like go, ooh, like this is really savory or really delicious. I want more of it. It's very mild, actually. There's like no spiciness, there's no like dimension to the flavor. It's just very milky, and like when August said it tastes sickly, I kind of understand where he's coming from. Like there is kind of this strange sweet undertone, and I don't know if that's from the sweet chili sauce or from these spices themselves, but these ingredients together do not make a very good sauce. Which stinks because I really wanted to like this. Like I wanted to come on like, oh, you know, August, his taste test wasn't accurate because he doesn't like mayonnaise and he doesn't like sour cream. So I figured that I'd try this and it would be more suitable for my palate. But yeah, it's not good. So I can understand why Chef P is just kind of like, screw it, I'm done with this, because it's just not cutting it. It needs like, I need some spicy flavor, or like maybe some like garlic salt or something, just something to add a savory dimension that adds to the flavor instead of just being like this strange milky dip. So before we move on to the sweet sauce, here are the ingredients to the pink sauce. It says organic freeze-dried red dragon fruit powder, which I've heard that dragon fruit really doesn't have a flavor, so I just think that's where the pink comes from. Honey powder, which I think is where that sweetness comes from. Garlic powder, but not garlic salt, because this really isn't that salty. Onion powder, brown sugar, again, that's where that sweetness comes from. Salt, spices, but she doesn't say what the spices are. And then maltodextrin, which is really bad for you. So I give like a 3 out of 10. I don't give it like a 1 because it's not necessarily disgusting. It's just not something that I would ever want to eat again. So stay tuned for my next video. We're going to be trying the sweet sauce.